today's year, a new baby is born in America, and this year is just the same. Hey, and welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Graham Roberson. Now, we've taken this show inside because of the elements, but it still doesn't tarnish the fact that we got the 2015 Audi Q3, the latest kind of newborn to the Audi lineup. Now, I'm quite fond of those rings on the Audi grille, and it kind of reminds me of a test drive years ago in the Audi TT. Now, that went through the kind of the West Virginia mountains and kind of winded its way up. Now, that vehicle was obviously a lot smaller. This one offered that two-door coupe-like styling. Now, what this vehicle does is really deliver, like the Audi TT, a different kind of spin on the Audi lineup. Now, what this does is deliver that crossover, very popular SUV styling. Now, by the numbers, this vehicle measured about 172 inches overall, with a very kind of mild wheelbase at about 103 inches. Now, its overall height is kind of squatty at just over 5 feet tall. But what you're going to find is it really kind of fits into that crossover segment, really kind of going up against the competition quite well. Not too bad considering this is kind of its first niche into this market. Now, the crossover segment obviously is blending SUV and sedan-like qualities, kind of getting the best of both worlds. Now, it's great on the Audi, of course, is you have that Quattro, getting those grips at the four corners. Now, that is an option on this vehicle, came with this particular model, but it is the go-to choice in my opinion, because anytime you go Audi, you really need to add Quattro at the end of the model. Now, what I found in this vehicle with the styling is it doesn't do like some crossovers, really goes maybe too minivan-esque. This one really holds kind of the Audi true design. A lot of sweeping curves, a low roofline, of course, here, and kind of a blending of the family tradition. Now, just as important as the Quattro is the tires you're sitting on. Now, this vehicle comes with two 55/40 all-season radials. Now, as for the rims, they're going to come standard 18-inch with the optional 19-inch 5-spoke design that you see here. Now, one area I'm not a big fan of is the Mr. T starter kit, also known as chrome. Now, here on the Q3, they really minimized it, really kind of focusing here on the roof rails, around the windows, a little bit on the grill, and of course that Audi rings. Now, one area they didn't put it is on the door handles and the mirror, just kind of overall going body color instead of choosing chrome. Now, one thing you think about when comparing crossovers, sedans, and full-size SUVs is really down to that turning radius, the ability to kind of maneuver this vehicle in those tight spots. Now, when you go to full-size SUVs, you could be easily in the upper 20s to 30-plus foot range of getting that vehicle around. Here on the Q3, it's very minimal at 19 feet. Now, one of the best aspects about a crossover vehicle is really the combination of that sedan-like ride with that SUV-like cargo, and just the same here on the Q3. Now, as you swing around to the back, the first thing you'll notice is that rather huge rear hatch. Now, it's going to grant a lot of access to that cargo area. Now, this particular model came with the optional power hatch. That, of course, is going to raise with ease. Simply press the button. It's going to kind of sneak out of the way. Now, as it's rising, you got to think about the ease of lowering it, and what you're going to find is a button right here on the rear hatch. Now, it's real simple to place it there, and for most people, you're going to find it with ease, but for the vertically challenged, that may be a hard reach. Now, of course, on the key fob, there is a corresponding button, but a lot of SUVs are actually relocating this button down here to the rear pillar. Now, it's going to be kind of a universal location that most people can reach. Now, as you dive into the rear cargo area, what you're going to notice is about 16 cubic feet of space, kind of comparable to a full-size sedan, but the difference in this is that you really can access it, and it's just a huge cavern, allowing you to put a lot of items in, whether you stack them or just lay them inside. Now, as you can tell right here, we have a rear cargo net, a nice feature that really allows you to put items in there and prevent them from sliding around. In our case, camera gear, things like that, because when you are in this vehicle, you may want to punch the gas and kind of swing through the curves. Now, if you want to, of course, increase cargo space, that is made simple with that 60/40 rear split seating. Now, you can simply lay it flat by reaching here to the shoulder area, pull on the clasp, and it's going to tumble forward. Now, once you lay all the seats down, that's going to more than triple the amount of cargo to about 48 cubic feet of space total with all the seating laid flat. Now, last choice, if you have people inside and maybe just have that long item that needs to sneak through the middle, we do have a pass-through right here. You simply pull this open, lay it flat. It's going to allow any item to slide right through. Now, just like my test drive behind the wheel, the Audi TT, I really wanted some spirit under this hood. Now, what it came with was a 2.0-liter inline 4-cylinder engine, delivered around about 200 horses and 207 foot-pounds of torque. Now, it's coupled with a 6-speed automatic transmission with, of course, that manual-like mode. Now, really, that coupled with the Quattro all-wheel drive system really gave this a lot of boot, scoot, and boogie, and really kind of made me reminiscent of those old days in that nice coupe, the Audi TT. Now, when you climb inside the Q3, one thing you want to look at is what does crossover mean when it comes to space. Now, when you look at the legroom numbers, you're talking about 40 inches up front with about 37 in the back. Now, for the back, those legroom numbers are pretty decent across the board. Now, up front, that 40 inches is a little bit on the low side, as a lot of other crossover vehicles are starting about 41 to 42 inches. But even with my 6-foot plus frame, I still had plenty of room. Now, in any vehicle, you want to talk about innovations, and here on the Q3, it's right there front and center with the huge LCD screen that houses navigation and all the other function. Now, this is an option that comes on this Q3 and really kind of a go-to choice. Now, what you're going to find right here on the main screen is really all the options that you control with a central knob. Now, this is not touchscreen, mainly because it's just too far away. Now, one thing I really did like is here on the music and the tone settings. Now, a lot of vehicles are going to have a bass setting and a treble setting, but this really also had a subwoofer setting. Now, this is going to take listening to the next level and really rattle the inside of this vehicle. Now, one thing you really need to note is that this doesn't actually fold down, something I spent about 5 to 10 minutes trying to almost break this, considering I almost convinced myself that it folded flat. Now, this is the central knob that's going to be the main controller of all the functions there on the big screen and really all the coordinating buttons. And it takes just a little bit of learning curve to kind of get used to these settings. Now, as you sweep down, you're going to find the standard dual climate controls on this vehicle, really controlling it with these kind of clickers here that take the temperature up and down. Now, in the middle is the vent speed and other functions that, again, is very simple and easy to use. Now, one thing we couldn't find anywhere you looked here were USB connections. We did find SD readers, but nothing to actually plug in the old standard USB. We did find power supplies, but nothing more than that. Now, on the dash between the huge speedometer and tachometer is the driver information center. Now, this for me was typically the speedometer on display there, but also toggled over to all the other information that you can get while you're driving on the road. This, of course, allows you to kind of simply look down versus over to the huge navigation display that's just a glance over. Now, the second row is really going to be where a lot of crossovers really lose their appeal because they have a lot of loss on the legroom. Now, in this vehicle, it was quite nice, about 37 inches, and really held any adult just fine that we put back here. Now, again, you can kind of switch this over to cargo, really kind of folding this part down, leaving a person over there, or vice versa. Now, one last feature we really liked was this huge oversized center console. It really gave a lot of armrest support and, of course, 2 cup holders tucked in here. Now, they're a little bit different, have a little springy arm here, but really a nice feature, giving you kind of a cockpit design for your backseat passengers. That does it for this edition of Road Warrior. Test drive behind the wheel of the 2015 Audi Q3, a vehicle that delivers that crossover-like quality, providing sedan and SUV. Now, we love this vehicle. Really, the capability is holding 5 people with ease and all their cargo. Now, the last feature really you have to dwell on is that Quattro-like aspect, giving you grip at all 4 corners, and shouldn't really be an option, but standard on this vehicle. Now, again, I'd like to thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior, and as always, keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.